Alright, here's my hybrid elemental spectral throw build. I've got about 1,000 life on reserve, or 2,300 on reserve, 1,000 with reserve, 3,200 shield, and currently 9,600 damage at level 71, so plenty of room for improvement. It's a pretty strong steroid foil right now. Plus 5 life per enemy hit by your attacks is actually pretty strong. It helps dealing with some of the weaker chaos degens, and the crit chance could be a lot better.
Oh.
Crit multiplier could be a nice corruption like Culling Strike if you really wanted. Let's see. The reason that the plus 5 life for enemy hit is also pretty nice is with Blood Rage. Right now that degen is extremely low. If you watch that, if you're actually hitting people, it's even lower, or if you have a Net Series Promise, that's almost nothing. And right now I'm using 2 of these, so you can pretty much chain them indefinitely. So Blood Rage is basically just a 15% increase in attack speed from the Frenzy charges. Or if you know for a fact there's no chaos damage in a map, which other than Exiles you can be pretty sure of, you can let yourself sit at around the low health limit and get the extra 60-some attack speed from Blood Rage. Really useful. You also get a little bit of extra leech, even though you do almost no physical damage. It does help some. In my Vertex, I have Anger and Wrath, Reduce Mana, and Empower. These could both be level 21, and this could be level 4. The reason I'm using a Vertex over an Alpha's Howl is for that extra +1 level of gems, you have to drop an aura, which I dropped at Herald of Ice. That might be able to be picked up later somewhere, whether it's on mana or in my life. But currently, it's about the same damage. You gain about 700 extra shield with my current passives, and the 30 chaos res, 20 to 30, helps a lot versus chaos damage. Using a Prism Guardian, which lets you run 2 extra auras, I'm running Haste and Discipline. Currently I have reduced mana linked to these because I don't want to lose too much life. And Haste can be switched for Grace if you want some extra defense. And Discipline helps regain the lost energy shield from running Prism Guardian. If you don't have a Prism Guardian yet, just use a high energy shield and don't run Discipline. You pretty much get the exact same energy shield. I get a little bit more from Discipline than I did from running this shield, which has about 400 shield and less resistances, which is another bonus of Prism Guardian. I'm just losing the damage from Haste if I take this off, which brings me down to 8,300. That's still perfectly fine. This amulet just has some dex on it, which you will need for this build, not necessarily on the amulet, but somewhere. Life, mana regen, some resistances. I really wish instead of crit chance it had elemental damage, but that just shows this build has room for improvement. This is a decent ring. It's a power ring, so it's pretty terrible base, but elemental damage, lightning damage, accuracy is useless, has a few resistances, nothing amazing, and some energy shield. This is actually a pretty insane ring, but it has a ton of resistances and elemental damage, some energy shield. But you'll see those resistances can be picked up pretty easily other places. For example, this ring, this amulet. The best chest I had that was 6 link was a Carcass Jack, and even then, there are better things I could use. Currently I have a level 17 life leech, so that could be corrupt, or that could be qualityed for more leech. Spectral Throw could be qualityed for more attack speed, or 20/20 faster attacks. Guided Lightning, which is still only level 17. And this is the gem that there might be other things that are better, but with quality, it'll add chance to shock. And in the new 1.3 passive tree, there's the node over here in Templar at the inscribed triangle, where having a shock on them will give 30% extra damage on top of them being shocked in general, and that will also proc your Herald of Thunder strikes, which actually do a decent amount of damage. The other gems I was thinking about for this is like faster projectiles for the added attack speed and projectile damage. Have a nice lesser multiple projectiles and then a nice weapon elemental damage. So those are pretty nice damage boosts for me.
What?
I also have a decent pair of energy shield gloves. The dex helps a lot. The chaos res helps a lot. But if you really need it, you could pick up some more reses here that I would lose from this ring. Also forgot to mention, a lot of resistances could be picked up on your chest, and a lot more shield could be gained on the chest too, even if it is a hybrid chest, which is probably needed considering the gem colors you need. If you're using Reeve instead, you can get by with 2 blues and only a 4 off color, and have a lot more shield on your chest. I was testing Reeve some earlier, and it's about a 17k tooltip with my current setup, which is perfectly fine. Physical damage base belt is pretty trash for this build, and you could get a 3rd resist here. You could also lose strength and gain energy shield, so this could be a lot better too. These boots are pretty strong. Good energy shield, good life, 2 resistances, so you could have a 3rd. Another place you can pick up resistance lost from this ring I have. I currently have Rumi's Concoction. This life flask basically serves for just topping off if I'm low on health, and the removes bleeding is useful for corrupting blood. I'm running 2 at Series Promises. I think you should always run at least 1 of these, but dropping 1 is perfectly fine. Now this one's also not even qualityed all the way, and I still always have them up. And then this Granite Flask is just in supplement to the Rumies. I could also run Lightning Flask or Fire Flask, which is probably what I'd put in for these two if I was doing a series. This is another ring I've been using for extra chaos res instead of this ring. I'm still capped resistances, and the +1 or 2 life gain you can craft is nice. There's a lot of nice stuff you can craft on rings, so you can get some pretty trash rings and be perfectly fine. I could also get some extra mana regen on both of these rings to set me up to around Arctic Armor, which I can't efficiently run yet. I can use probably like a level 9 right now in movement, but as it stands, there's a drain right now, and the mana cost for Spectral Throw is pretty high too, so I won't use that. You can actually pretty much cast this forever as it stands, which is really nice. This is about the fastest you'll be attacking. The only extra damage or attack speed you get is quality Spectral Throw and quality faster projectiles if you're using that, or if you have any extra on gear. And the mana regen is going to be a lot higher in game. Currently, the skill tree is pretty bad for this build. I would have rather started a Shadow, but I had a Templar for respec. And I'm going to start Shadow in the new leagues, and entering Templar over here to grab what you need will be a lot more efficient. But I just went through elemental damage, got some mana, and reduced skill cost. If you're planning on going Reeve, just drop these and come in here for Amplify. Went through the life, picked up that just because, or Discipline and Trading just because it's such a good node. Got the elemental damage, came out here for the increased buffs, and grabbed Resolute Technique. Got all the aura nodes and the extra chaos res. If you need it, there's an extra 8% here. Came up over here. I got these 2 mana nodes. Plan on going through this life to do intelligence. If you're going Reeve, grab Blast Radius. If not, pop over this int node. grab the energy shield, come through here, grab the energy shield and mana regen. A lot more mana regen, as you can see, to help on Arctic Armor. Get Inner Force, it's insane for this build. Shaper. Come through the energy shield, get the aura effect nodes. Down here, more aura effect nodes. Come up through Shadow and get the LE damage. And projectile speed is amazing. If you want, you can get an extra 20% down at Ballistic Mastery, which I might do since I'm probably not going to get faster projectiles in my 6th link. Pop up here, get increased aura effect. I'm going to come in here and get Written in Blood, because for 2 nodes, that's a lot of shield and life. And came down here for Ghost Reaver. The reason you need Ghost Reaver is because you want to regen your shield, and if you're using blood magic, which a lot of LE Spectral throws do, then your shield won't regen. It counts as you being injured. So pretty much I have some life on hit, but you don't really need that to gain life. You just have your 1 flask right here. And I've only really died once on this build so far to chaos damage, and that was to the Weaver in the level 72 map. And pretty much everyone dies to that. Easily, like, even if I take this ring off, resistances are almost capped. Like, I need 30 more fire res and 33 more lightning res. Way over capped. 44 over capped on cold res, so that's perfectly fine. And then, currently I have a 5% chaos res. Like I said, like, you can get a lot more resistances. You could grab an extra chaos res on your belt, on your boots, on your on one of your rings, maybe an amulet, your chest. There's tons of places you can grab that. Especially since when you're coming through here, you're going to get an extra 5 all resist. So it's even easier to cap resistances. Not 100% sure, but I thought on the new tree you actually get more resistances than this 12 all resist going through Templar. So that'll help some. And when you're running Atziri, you're definitely going to be running or dropping a few auras for Purity of Fire and Lightning, so even easier to cap resistances. On top of that, you're not going to take any chaos damage after the triplets in Atziri, so you could drop yourself to low life for the added attack speed from Blood Rage to make it even easier. Get an extra 8 chaos res here if you really need it. Just an extra 17 here, but you don't need any of this. If you really wanted to, that's 17 and 8. An extra 25 chaos res on top of my 5 is 30 chaos res. You pop a flask, which, like I said, these two are always up. That's another 35. It's just insane. Like, the amount of chaos res this build gets, like, it's not even a problem to be at even 700, 600 life if I'm switching this over here. I don't know, blood magic. I'm at 470. Even then, unless you hit like Thena Moga, you're not going to die to chaos damage. It's just pretty simple. I think that's about it for this build so far. Like I said, it's level 71, so there's a ton of room for improvement to go, and I think this might be one of the new stronger builds as far as price goes.